in discussion. Okay. So again, the first chapter is all about introduction to engineering economy. And the question is, what is engineering economy? Economics. Okay. So sinasabi po dito na fundamentally, engineering economics involves formulating, estimating, and evaluating the economic outcomes when alternatives to accomplish a defined purpose are available. So, kumbaga, engineering economics, based on what I have mentioned then, I have said then a while ago during the discussion of the syllabus, ay makakatulong sa atin to make smart choices. Ayan. So, makakatulong siya sa atin to make smart choices. Kapag when there are different ways to reach a goal. And each choice, meron silang sariling costs and benefits. Ano po? The first step is formulating. And here, you are defining the problem. Okay, so you are determining the problem. So what is the real issue? What is the real problem? And then from that, you will list the possible options. Okay, so for example, you want to expand your production. So how will you expand the production? Okay, so the problem is expanding the production. So how will you expand the production? So the possible options for that problem is to buy new equipment, to upgrade old machines, mga luma ng machines, i-upgrade natin, o kaya naman mag-outsourcing tayo. Ano po? Again, the first step is formulation. Where again, here you are going to define what the real problem is and then list all the possible options. Next is estimating. Okay? So dito naman you are predicting. Alin yung pinipredict mo? The cost and benefits. Okay? Of each option. Ano po? So, kailangan, since nalatag mo na possible options, you're now going to analyze the cost and benefits of each options. Like purchasing, like the purchase cost, the maintenance cost, training of the employees, the workers, or savings. Ano po? So, formulating, estimating, and then lastly, evaluating. So, sa evaluation naman, evaluating, here, you are comparing. Ano yung kino-compare mo? Yung options. Okay? How will you compare those options? So, dyan napapasok yung paggamit mo ng mga NPV, IRR, or the payback period. Okay? Because by those tools, by using those tools, you will see which one or which option will give the best value. Ano po? So again, formulating, estimating, and evaluating. You will define what the real problem is, list the possible options, then predict the cost and benefits of each options, and then finally comparing those options using different tools to see alin ba doon yung magbibigay sa inyo ng best result or outcome. Okay? Sinasabi din dito that engineering economy is more than just adding up cost and revenues. Makakatulong siya sa atin to decide if a solution is really worth it in the long run by checking several factors. So ano yung i-check natin? First, promote the well-being and survival of an organization. So the support pagdating sa organization. Okay? So kailangan yung decision makakatulong siya to help the company survive, grow, and stay competitive. Okay? So if we're going to make a decision, hindi dun sa malulugi yung company, hindi dun sa lulubog yung company, but for the company to survive, for the company to grow, and for the company to stay competitive. Okay? So that's the first factor that needs to be considered, yung support sa organization when making a decision. And then embody innovative and creative technology and idea. So here, encourage innovation. So when we are making a decision, when we are listing possible solutions or options, it should use creative and modern ideas that will add value or reduce cost. So we must be creative and we must be innovative in making solutions. Next, permit identification and scrutiny of their estimated outcomes. Ayan. So dito papasok yung pagiging measurable and clear natin when it comes to the decision making. Ano po? Where dapat the outcomes like cost, savings, and risk ay easy to estimate and compare. Okay? So kailangan measurable. Okay. So, madali natin siyang ma-estimate, madali natin siyang mako-compare yung possible results or outcome. And it should be clear. Okay? Lastly, translate profitability to the bottom line through a valid and acceptable measure of merit. So, it should show profitability. Ano po? Kailangan yung solution must prove it benefits the company using reliable tools like NPV, IRR, payback period. So, kumbaga, we list all the options, we list all the solution, and we must prove that those solutions will benefit the company. And how can we prove that? By using the tools. Okay. So, by these factors that needs to be considered, we can make sure na yung solutions na nagawa natin, ano po, or practical, innovative, measurable, and financially worthwhile. Okay? Next po, we have 7 principles of engineering economy. We have develop the alternatives, focus on the differences, use a consistent viewpoint, use a common unit of measure, consider all relevant criteria, make risk uncertainty explicit, and revisit your decisions. So let us discuss one by one yung ating principles of engineering economy. Una is to develop the alternatives. Where in this first principle, it's it emphasizes ano po na ang isang I mean a good economic decisions nagsisimula with clearly identifying and defining the possible options. A good economic decision start with clearly identifying and defining the possible options. So ano pong sinasabi dyan? Carefully define the problem. Exclamation point. Ano po? Kumbaga, yun yung in-emphasize natin kay principle number 1. To clearly define what the real problem is. Ano po? Because if we have a poorly defined problem, it can lead to weak alternatives. Tama po ba? Kung hindi natin na-define na maayos ang isang problem, hindi tayo makakagawa ng magandang option or solution. 'Di ka po? Tama ka po? Tama ka po? O5, O5 nga, o tama, O5. Okay, so tama naman, ano po, kaya po the first step is for us to understand ano ba yung real issue, okay. So the first step is to understand the real issue, whether it's all about reducing the cost, improving efficiency, or expanding capacity, okay. Kasi po, a clear problem statement keeps the decision-making process focus. So kung clearly na-identify natin what is the real issue, yung decision-making natin naka-focus lang in solving that issue. Ano po? So kumbaga, hindi tayo paligoy-ligoy. Ano po, hindi siya, kumbaga zigzag na road. Ano po, straight linear lang siya. Straight line lang siya. Kasi nga, na-identify natin ng maayos ano ba yung problema. Okay? And then, identify and define alternatives. So, sinasabi po dito that a decision always involves a choice. Okay? So, may choice ang lahat ng person. Okay? So, kumbaga, we must lay out all possible alternatives, from the obvious ones to the creative ones. And each option should be defined well enough para po later on, mas ma-analyze natin yung bawat options na yon. Okay? So, kung na-identify na natin ano ba yung problema, we can lay out possible alternatives for the problem. Okay? And it is said here, ano po, sinasabi lang din naman dito kay principle number 1 is that the quality of decision depends on the quality of alternatives, and that is correct din naman po. Na yung strength ng final decision nakadepends directly on how good yung alternatives na meron tayo, on how good yung options na meron tayo. Kasi kung yung options na meron tayo or yung alternatives na meron tayo are weak or incomplete, kahit pa gaano ka-detailed yung analysis mo ng cost-benefit, it will still produce a poor outcome. So, kailangan po nating mag-generate, ano po, that's why we need to generate a realistic and innovative options. And dun papasok yung role ng pagiging creative and innovative. The role of creativity and innovation. Kasi hindi lang naman tayo basta magle-layout ng mga possible options. Because developing alternatives isn't just about listing options. Nagre-require siya ng imagination and problem-solving skills. And we must be a creative thinker. Okay? Because creative thinking can uncover alternatives na mag-o-offer sa atin ng greater long-term benefits or efficiency. Okay? So, hindi siya basta na lang maglatag ng solusyon. Okay? We must use our imagination and problem-solving skills to list all the possible alternatives. And we must be creative enough, ano po, sa paggawa ng mga options and alternatives na yon. Okay? Next po, focus on the differences. Okay? So, focus on the differences. So, this principle 2 emphasizes naman that when comparing alternatives, only the factors that vary among them matter for decision making. only the factors that vary among them matter for decision making. Kaya po, we should focus only on differences. So yun nga yung tanong, why focus only on differences? So bakit nga ba when comparing alternatives, we focus on the differences? Kasi po, for example, if there are two or more alternatives that will share the same outcome, the same result, pwede na natin siyang i-cancel out in the comparison. Okay? Kasi parang nagiging redundant lang. Ano po, same naman sila ng possible result. Pwedeng alisin na natin. Ano po, siya dun sa solution. Kumbaga, hindi na kasi siya makaka-influence on our decision. It will just add unnecessary complexity in our decision making. Okay? That is why focusing only on differences matters. Okay? Kasi nga yung the decision should be based on the differences in terms of cost, benefits, risk, or other impacts between the alternatives. Okay? For example, if there are two machines that cost the same to purchase, but one of them has lower energy consumption and maintenance cost, then those differences will guide us in the decision making. Dalawang machine, same lang naman ang presyo. Pero yung isa kasi mababa yung energy consumption, yung isa mababa yung maintenance cost. So that differences between the two machine that cost the same, yung mag-guide sa atin kung sino ba yung bibilhin natin, machine A, machine B. Ano po? Nasusundan po ba? Okay. So if there are no differences, paano pag walang difference? Walang pagkakaiba. So when alternatives are essentially identical in outcomes, yung choice is irrelevant. Though we have choice, hindi na siya relevant kasi you could just pick randomly whether machine A or machine B yung bibilhin natin and it will not affect the result. Kaya nga po mahalaga to recognize differences. Because yung differences na yun yung magja-justify ng analysis natin. Okay po. So, kumbaga, isang example din, if you're going to choose between two houses with the same purchase price, that cost does not affect your decision. Yung cost, hindi naman yung makaka-affect sa decision mo kasi parehas naman ng presyo. Di ka po? What matters are the differences like one, being closer to work, ibig sabihin lower travel cost, or one having lower maintenance expenses. So that distinction, that differences will determine which option is better. Ano po, just like what we have here in our module. Okay? So, house A, house B. Yung isa nasa Alangilan, yung isa nasa bayan. Parehas naman dalawang bedroom. Yung isa, dalawa yung toilet and bath. But same rent lang naman. Ano po? So, alin yung pipiliin natin? Okay? So, that differences, ano po, yan yung makakatulong sa atin to decide sino ang pipiliin. Ano po, yung mahal mo o mahal ako. Tama ba, Jerry? Ay, mali-mali. Lagi ko na narinig kumanta yan si Jerry kasi nandito ako. Okay, so ibig sabihin, yung core, di ba, yung pinaka-core of engineering economic analysis is to compare alternatives based on how they differ in future outcomes. ignore na natin the common factors, the common denominator can be ignored. Ano po? Only the varying elements influence. Alin ba yung option that is most economically sound? Okay, so that is principle 2. Principle 3, use a consistent viewpoint. So ano naman yung tinutukoy dito? It's just emphasizes that in engineering economic analysis, the evaluation of alternatives must be done from a clearly defined and consistently applied perspective. So, kaninong POV ba? Yung i-consider natin, and when you choose that POV, you must use that consistently all throughout the analysis. Okay? So, yun nga po, kailangan i-define nyo muna the perspective before analysis. So, before comparing alternatives, you must decide whose viewpoint matters. Is it the owners, the government, the employees, or the public? Okay? And the viewpoint will determine which costs and benefits are relevant. Okay? So, bago ka mag-compare ng options, kailangan consider mo muna kaninong point of view ba, kaninong viewpoint ba yung nagmamatter. Okay? And consistency in analysis is a must. Ano po? Kasi nga, ang nakalagay dyan, use a consistent viewpoint. Okay? So, once the viewpoint is chosen, so, kumbaga, what we are considering is the viewpoint of the government, it should be used consistently across the analysis. So, kailangan maiwasan natin yung mixing perspective. So, kumbaga nahalo-halo na ah, ang na-consider natin viewpoint ni government, na-consider natin yung viewpoint ng mga tao, ng public, ano po. Kasi mixing perspective can lead to misleading conclusions o kaya biased conclusions. Okay? Kaya nga, consistent dapat yung paggamit ng viewpoint. Okay? So, kumbaga, for example, there is this project of the government. Ano po? So, sabihin natin, merong river basin project. So, in this case, the owners, sino yung owner? Yung mga nagbabayad ng buwis or the public who ultimately fund the project kasi we all know naman that the government projects are being funded by the taxpayers. Therefore, the alternatives, the option, should be evaluated from the public's perspective. Ano po? So, dapat yung POV ng public, POV ng taxpayer, yung kinoconsider dito. Focusing on public cost and benefits. Ano po? Kasi yung owner, yung taxpayer. Okay? Next, private company naman. Ano po? For example, employee benefits plan. Here, yung alternative may cost the company the same amount, but they differ in terms of employee satisfaction and preferences. So since yung decision is about the employee benefits, kanina dapat yung viewpoint natin? Sa company o sa employee? It should be the viewpoint of the employees as a group. Di po ba? Kasi yung ah yung problem natin dito is all about the employee benefits plan. So, kailangan yung i-consider natin na viewpoint is para sa empleyado. Ano po, hindi para kay company. Okay? Again, this matters because nga po, if we will use a wrong viewpoint, it could lead to a biased conclusion, a biased result. Ano po, kasi kung dun sa river basin project na yon, if we were going to evaluate that only from the government's perspective. Ano po, so na-overlook natin, ano po, yung or nababalewala natin yung mga taong nagfa-fund nung project na yun. And similarly, if employee benefits were analyzed only from the company's perspective, hindi natin mako-consider yung satisfaction ng empleyado. Okay? So, kumbaga, kay Principle 3, we are ensuring that there is fairness. Ano po? There is clarity and accuracy pagdating sa decision making. So, yung viewpoint, kailangan at the start pa lamang, ma-define na natin. Kaninong viewpoint ba? Yung kailangan i-consider. And apply that consistently all throughout the analysis para magkaroon tayo ng
Yes.
valid and relevant comparisons. Okay? Next, mabilis ka po or you can follow naman. Okay po. Number 4 is to use a common unit of measure. So ano naman pong meron dito? Here, this principle 4 highlights the importance of expressing the expected outcomes of alternatives in a single, comparable form, most often money, para to make evaluation clearer and more consistent. So ano po ba yung tinutukoy dito? Importance of expressing the expected outcomes of alternatives in a single comparable form to make evaluation clearer and more consistent. Why a common unit is needed? So yung kasi yung tanong why? Kasi nakalagay lang dito, use a common unit of measure. So ano ba yung tinutukoy natin na common unit na yon? Okay? And why that common unit is needed? Bakit ba siya kailangan? Ano po? Because alternatives often differ in many ways. Ano po? Hindi naman lahat ng alternatives are the same. Ano po? They are different in many ways. Purchase cost, operating cost, maintenance requirements, efficiency, or even mga non-financial impacts. Ano po? So, so yun yung mga possible alternatives. So, iba-iba. Ano po? And if these outcomes are expressed in different forms, like hours, peso, energy unit, satisfaction level, comparing them directly becomes difficult. So, kumbaga, expressing them in different forms can make comparison difficult. Okay po. So, here, we use money as the standard measure. So, ginagamit po natin money as the standard measure. Ayan. So, ano pong ibig sabihin dito? That in engineering economy, dollars or peso are typically used as the common unit. Why? Because most outcomes can eventually be traced back to cost or benefits in financial terms. Okay? So, kumbaga, ah, kahit pa sabihin natin na iba-iba yung alternatives na meron tayo, at the end of the day, yung magiging outcome natin, pwede natin siya makuha by money. Ano po? For example, energy savings. Okay? Energy savings can be converted to reduce electricity bills. So, yung energy saving in kilowatt hour can still be converted into money. So, makukuha natin directly ano ba yung equivalent amount of money na pwede nating maitipid by that kilowatt hour. Di po ba? So, kumbaga, That is why we use money as the standard measure. Then we need to translate non-economic outcomes. So ano bang ibig sabihin nun? Some outcomes kasi don't naturally appear in monetary forms. For example, the employee morale, the environmental impact, the customer satisfaction. Those outcomes, hindi naman siya it doesn't appear in monetary form. Hindi naman siya in peso, di ba? Yung moral ng empleyado, hindi naman siya in peso, hindi naman siya in dollars. Yung environmental impact, hindi naman yan in peso. Okay? So, when possible, if possible, this should be quantified in monetary terms. For example, sa environmental impact, cost of carbon emission, di ba? Uh, the employee moral, we can quantify that in monetary terms by the value of reduced accidents, di ba? Or productivity gains from happier employees, customer satisfaction, di ba? So still, by that non-economic outcome, pwede pa rin naman natin siyang ma-quantify in monetary terms if possible. But when translation is not feasible, so kung hindi talaga natin siya ma-quantify into monetary forms, if an outcome cannot reasonably be expressed in monetary units, ano pong kailangan natin gawin? It should still be quantified in its own appropriate unit. Like tons of CO2 avoided, number of accidents reduced, hours saved. So even if quantification isn't possible, the outcome should at least be described described clearly. Described clearly. Okay? So yung outcome, ano yan? Ano ating presentation? Yung outcome, kahit pa hindi natin siya ma-convert into monetary terms, ayan, we can quantify that. Ano po? Nasa na, ma'am? Even if quantification isn't possible, the outcome should be described clearly so that, yung mga decision makers natin can weigh, 'di ba? Kaya pa rin niyang timbangin it qualitatively alongside economic results. So, kahit hindi siya quantifiable, hindi talaga siya ma-translate, ma-convert into quantitative. Pwede pa rin siyang ma-weigh, 'di ba? Qualitatively naman. Okay? So, yung benefit of using a common unit, ano yung benefit niya? So, by making outcomes commensurable, the decision making becomes more straightforward. So, ibig sabihin, ma-avoid natin confusion, masisigurado natin that the trade-offs between alternatives are evaluated on a consistent basis. Okay. So, yun yung principle for natin. Na sinisigurado lang dito that as many outcomes as possible are expressed in a single comparable measure. Okay. So, that makes it easier for us to evaluate alternatives fairly. While still acknowledging yung mga non-economic impacts natin when they cannot be monetized. Okay? So, naintindihan naman po Principle 4. So, yung mga economic outcomes natin, tina-translate natin siya into monetary form, but if not feasible talaga yung quantification, we must at least describe those outcomes clearly para ma-weigh natin siya qualitatively. Okay po. Next po, we have principle 5. Consider all relevant criteria, where it stresses that when making an engineering economic decision, we must account for both monetary and non-monetary factors to arrive at the most balanced and beneficial choice. Where the first thing that we need to do here is to use the use of decision criteria. Okay? Use of decision criteria. Okay? Because a decision cannot be made without a standard to judge the alternative. Okay? So a decision cannot be made without a criteria para ma-judge ang isang alternatives. And in engineering economy, the main criterion, the main criterion na tinutukoy natin dito ay yung ating mga NPV, net present value, IRR, internal rate of return, and benefit cost ratio. So, yan yung ginagamit natin as main criteria in financial performance for us to judge an alternative. Okay? And it is said here that primary criterion is equal to long-term financial interest. Primary criterion relates to the long-term financial interest of the owners. So ano po sinasabi dyan? Since organizations typically aim to maximize yung shareholder or owner value, the most important criterion is often the long-term financial return. So, yung aim kasi, sabi po dyan, na since yung objective ng isang organization ay ma-maximize yung value ng shareholder o kaya ng owner, yung pinaka-criteria natin na kailangang i-consider is the long-term financial return. Why we need to consider that? Because that will ensures na yung kapital natin, ano po, the capital expenditure, the capital itself is allocated efficiently to generate maximum economic benefit. Kasi kung doon nga lang naman po tayo magbe-base sa shareholder value or sa owner value as capital, kailangan ma-allocate natin na maayos yung capital na yun para mag-generate siya ng maximum economic benefit. Okay? There are also other relevant criteria. Okay? However, decisions rarely depend on financial outcomes alone. So, other objectives such as safety, environmental impact, social responsibility, sustainability, ano pa ba? Employee satisfaction, yan yung mga nakaka-influence din for the final decision. So, kumbaga, yan din yung mga criteria that needs to be considered. Okay? When making a decision. So, kailangan there is a balance, multiple objectives. Kumbaga, yung mga decision makers, kasi econ ginagamit natin yan in decision making. So, yung mga decision makers, they should give weight to those additional criteria alongside with the financial ones. So, hindi lang tayo, ito yung ating main. Okay? But other criteria nga such as safety, environmental impact should also be considered. Ano po? Kasi nga for example, yung project natin ay project with slightly lower profit but significantly higher safety or environmental benefits may still be the better choice in the long run. Yung project na kahit medyo maliit yung tubo, pero may mataas na safety or environmental benefit, ay pwede pa rin maging better choice in the long run compared to the higher profit na may lower safety and environmental benefit naman. Ano po? So, kumbaga, here, we're not just considering the economic criteria but also the non-economic criteria. Kasi yun yung makakatulong sa atin to make sure that the selected alternative serves hindi lamang the financial interest, but also the broader long-term goals of the organization and its stakeholders. Ano po? So, kumbaga dito kay Principle 5, it's just reminding us that while financial return is often the primary driver, di ba, ng isang engineering economic decision, other relevant criteria such as sustainability, environmental, safety must also be included to make sound, responsible, and future-oriented choices or decisions. Ano po? So, hindi lang tayo nakatuon, ano po, hindi lang yung focus natin ay sa financial aspect, but also the non-financial aspect. Okay? Na yun nga, pwede pa rin natin maging choice ang isang project na even though mababa lang yung kikitain, maliit lang yung kikitain natin, pero can have a better impact into our environment and safety. Yun yung piliin natin compared to the one na may malaking profit nga pero sira naman yung environment natin. Dagdag climate change pa. Eh, may mga SDGs na nga tayo. Ano po, with regards to the uh, climate change. Ano po. And then the innovation. Ano po. So that's principle 6. Okay? Nakakasunod pa naman po ang everyone. Okay. So principle 6, make risk and uncertainty explicit. So ano po naman yung sinasabi kay principle 6? Here, it states that risk and uncertainty are inherent in estimating the future outcomes of the alternatives and should be recognized in their analysis and comparison. So, kumbaga dyan, hina-highlight natin that future outcomes are never guaranteed. 'Di ba? Future outcomes are never guaranteed. And we decision makers must account for this uncertainty when evaluating alternatives. Okay? Uncertainty in future outcomes. What does that mean? So, in engineering economy, where it involves estimating future cash flows, cost, revenues, or benefits, however, those projections are not certainties. 'Di ba? Kahit na ine-estimate natin the future cash flows, the future costs, the future revenues, the future benefits, that projection, that estimation are uncertain. Hindi pa rin tayo sigurado. Ano po? Because market conditions, technological changes, inflation, or unexpected events can cause actual outcomes to differ from estimates. That is why uncertainty in future outcomes. There is an uncertainty in future outcomes. Even if we estimated it, The estimated ones are not the real ones. Kasi there are factors that needs to be considered. And I mean, there are factors that affect the estimated value. Even the do nothing option has uncertainty. Yung wala ka na nga ginawa, uncertain pa. Ano? Hindi ka na nga gumawa, hindi pa pala sigurado yun. Ano po, it's uncertain pa. Even the do nothing option has uncertainty. Choosing not to act may seem risk-free, but future conditions like rising maintenance costs could still change outcomes. Thus, uncertainty affects every decision. Okay. So uncertainty affects every decision. So why risk and uncertainty must be made explicit? Why risk and uncertainty must be made explicit? If uncertainty po is ignored, decisions may appear more certain and precise than they really are, leading to poor choices. So if we will ignore the uncertainty, the decision to make it more certain and precise than they really are can lead to poor choices. So by explicitly identifying the risk, we can better understand yung potential ng variability ng isang outcome. And what are the methods to handle uncertainty? So dito po papasok yung mga methods like sensitivity analysis. Dito po papasok yung scenario analysis. Dito po papasok yung probabilistic models. And etc. So sensitivity analysis, you are testing how results change if assumptions vary. For scenario analysis, you'll be determining here the best case, the worst case, the most likely case. And for the probabilistic models, you are assigning probabilities to different outcomes. And that's the importance of transparency. That in making risk explicit, it doesn't eliminate uncertainty. Making risk explicit doesn't eliminate uncertainty, but it ensures that we are aware of it and we can prepare strategies para ma-mitigate the negative impacts or we can take advantage of opportunities. So that's what Principle 6 is all about. Recognizing that all engineering economic decisions involve uncertainty. So by identifying, analyzing, and explicitly presenting risk, we can choose alternatives, ano po, na may mas malinaw, ano po, with a clearer understanding of the potential variability ng kanyang outcome. Okay? Then lastly, we have the revisiting your decision. Revisit your decision. So it's just emphasizing here na the decision making is not a one-time event. It's an adaptive process. It's an adaptive process that requires feedback, learning, and continuous improvement. Okay? So why revisiting decision matters? Even with thorough analysis, even with detailed analysis, the actual outcomes of our decision often differ from our initial projection. Kasi nga may uncertainty. Kasi nga there is an unexpected events or sometimes we overlook some factors. And comparing what was predicted with what actually happened, makakatulong yan sa atin na ma-identify yung mga mistakes, 'di ba? Mga pagkakamali. Ano ba yung mga naging pagkakamali ko pa doon sa naging decision ko nung una? Ma-validate yung mga assumptions and we can refine the future analysis. Ano po? So here on principle 7, we are learning from both the success and failure. Okay? Hindi naman natin masasabi nga na lahat ng decisions natin ay success and failure. Ano po? So if a decision that turns out poorly is not necessarily a bad decision. Ano po? A decision that turns out poorly is not necessarily a bad decision. It may simply be the result of unforeseen events. And similarly, a successful decision may still be reveal weaknesses if actual outcomes differ significantly from estimates. So in both cases, reviewing the results will provide us valuable lessons. And we should not neglect feedback. Ano po? So hindi po dapat na natin ini-ignore yung mga feedback, yung mga criticisms. Ano po, the result, the bad result. Kasi po, many organizations fail to conduct post-evaluations. Ano po, kumbaga, hindi na sila nagkaroon ng post-evaluation. So, many organizations fail to conduct post-evaluations either because it is seen as impractical or unnecessary. And that will lead lang po to repeating the same errors, the same mistakes in future decisions. So, kung walang feedback, ano po, hindi natin mai-improve pa yung decision. Ano po? So, kailangan din talaga natin pakinggan yung feedback, okay, nung ating naging decision. Okay? So, sa Principle 7, it just highlights that the engineering economy, econ, is a continuous learning process. Ano po? Continuous learning process yan. So, by routinely comparing the projected and the actual outcomes, yung mga organizations, pwede nilang ma-improve pa yung pagfo-forecast nila ng improve their forecasting accuracy to strengthen pa yung decision making nila. And syempre, maiwasan yung pagkakamali nila. Okay? So, that is the 7 principles of engineering economy. Okay? So, naintindihan naman po yung 7 principles. Okay? Of engineering economy. Malinaw po, everyone? Okay po. So, what time is it? 1:27. Okay. So, continue pa tayo. So, engineering economy and the design process. Okay. So, it just states here that engineering economy studies is accomplished using a structured procedure and mathematical modeling techniques. The economic results are then used in a decision situation that normally includes other engineering knowledge and input. So ano pong sinasabi dyan? That an engineering economy study is done in an organized and step-by-step process. So gumagamit tayo ng mga mathematical modeling techniques like cost analysis, cash flow, financial formulas, para ma-predict natin the economic results of different options. So, once the economic results are ready, they are combined with other engineering knowledge, 'di ba? Like technical performance, safety, environmental impact, to help make a well-informed decisions. Kaya minsan may makikita kayong mga studies na hindi lang siya focusing on economic analysis, but meron tayong mga techno-economic, meaning the study is all about the technical and economic aspect of the project, safety and economic, so safety and economic aspect of the project, and also environmental and economic analysis, where we are studying the advantage and disadvantages of the uh, project in terms of environmental and economic. Okay? So, dito sa engineering economy, okay, it provides the numbers, okay, but the final decision also considers engineering and practical factors. Okay. So table 1-1, so that's the general relationship between the engineering economic analysis procedure and the engineering design process. So ito po yung diniscuss natin kanina. Ano po? Yung 7 principles. Now, meron siyang 6 design processes. So, yan naman po yung i-discuss natin. So, again, this is just related to the 7 principles. Ano po? So, the first one is problem definition. So, the first step in engineering economic analysis is defining the problem. So, yun nga po yung kanina nating sinasabi pa or ine-emphasize. The first step, ano po, first things first lagi talaga is to define the problem. Because everything else in the study depends on that problem. And dapat ang isang problem must be well understood and clearly stated before analysis begins. Okay? So, alin ba yung tinatawag natin na problem? Alin ba yung problem na tinutukoy natin? Here, it means any decision situation that needs economic evaluation. A problem is any decision situation that needs economic evaluation, where it can arise from internal needs or external needs. Probably, for example, like fixing an operating issue ng isang kumpanya, or just like meeting customer expectation. So, pwedeng maging problem yun. It can be internal or external problem. And the problem should be defined from a system's perspective. Ano pong ibig sabihin nun? Meaning, its boundaries, its elements, and environment must be clearly identified. So, as the organization, as the team evaluates the problem, needs and requirements may change. So, nagva-vary yung needs, yung pangangailangan at yung kailangan. And the original definition might need refinement. That is why there's a need for refinement ng problem. Okay? Kailangan nating i-redefine yung problem until everyone agrees it is the most important step. Because sabi nga po natin kanina, poorly defined problem can lead to poor or weaker alternatives. So, kumbaga, the foundation of engineering economy study is the problem definition. Clear, well-defined problem, ensures na yung analysis natin ina-address talaga yung totoong issue. Therefore, we can have an effective alternative and solution for that problem. Okay? After defining the problem, the next step is to come up with the possible alternatives. So here we're going to develop the alternatives. Okay? So here we need to search for the potential alternative. So we're going to look as much as possible, I mean as as many possible solutions as you can. Ano po, you're going to look as many possible solutions as you can. And sabi nga natin kanina, ano po, dun sa ating principle 1, 1 pa nga ba yun? 1 pa yun, ano? Be creative, be innovative. Creativity and resourcefulness are important in developing alternatives. Since yung quality nga, kagaya na nabanggit na, kumbaga reiteration na lang po ito. Ano po, yun lang din naman yung dinidiscuss dito sa design process na ito eh. Na tinutukoy nga dito na yung quality ng final decision ay nakadepende lang sa quality ng option natin. And great alternatives often come from rethinking the problem in new ways. So, we need to rethink the problem in new ways. For example, redefining the problem in different ways. Okay, we are redefining the problem in different ways. Hindi in a single way lamang. Ano po, hindi tayo nakatingin sa isang aspeto lamang. So we are looking at different aspects of the problem. Don't judge ideas too early. We need to list them first. Hindi mo kailangang, ito yung option 1. Naku, hindi naman yan po pwede. Dapat ganito, dapat ganyan. Don't judge ideas too early. List them first. Ano po, listan nyo muna bago nyo siya i-analyze whether it's effective ba or not. And then try to look at the problem from a completely different angle. So yun na din yung kanina, redefining the problem in different ways. You are looking at the problem different angles. Okay? And make sure that the real problem is fully understood before creating solutions. Make sure that the real problem, okay, so kailangan nga kasi alam natin ano ba yung totoong issue. Because if we fully understood the problem, we can create the solution. Okay? Sabi natin nung una, search for potential alternatives. Okay? And then, screen the alternatives. Screening alternatives. So, yan yung pangalawa natin gagawin. Kasi yung development of alternatives, dalawang parte yan. Search for potential, screening of alternatives, screening alternatives. So, kumbaga, from all the possible or from all the options generated, from all the potential alternatives that you list down, you will narrow them to a smaller group of feasible alternatives. Ano po, kaya wag mo muna i-judge. Ilista mo muna lahat bago mo i-judge. Alin ba doon, ano po, filter mo up until makuha mo na yung mga feasible alternatives. Those that meet the basic requirements and are worth analyzing in detail. Yun nga lang, there are limitations. Doon papasok yung time or money, limited time or money. there's not enough time or money to explore every option. So that's one of the limitations in the development of alternatives. Second is preconceived ideas about what will work or won't work. And lastly, lack of complete knowledge or information. So that's the limitation. And because of those limits, lack of time and money, preconceived ideas, lack of knowledge, because of those limits, we often have to work with less than perfect solutions in real life scenarios. So less than perfect because there are limitations, okay, that hinders the development of the alternatives. So kumbaga, kay step 2, this is all about generating many creative alternatives and then screening them to keep only the feasible ones. But even though there are limitations existing, the more carefully and creatively this step is done, ano po, the better the chances na makahanap tayo ng best solution. Okay? Next, 1:39. Okay, so may time pa naman. Next, we have here a problem, an example. Okay, so it states here that the management team of a small furniture manufacturing company is under pressure to increase profitability to get a much needed loan from the bank to purchase a more modern pattern cutting machine. One proposed solution is to sell waste wood chips and shavings to a local charcoal manufacturer instead of using them to fuel space heaters for the company's office and factory areas. So we're going to define what the problem is dun sa example natin. Ano po? So, ang sinasabi kasi dito kay example, the furniture company needs a bank loan para makabili sila ng modernong machine. But the bank will only approve it if the company proves it can be more profitable. So, ang isang solution nila is to sell the wastewood chips instead of burning them for heating. So, ano yung problema dito? Here, the main issue, the main problem is that the company's revenues are not high enough, di ba, to cover the cost, which threatens profitability. Ano po? Kasi it appears here in our sample that the revenues are not sufficiently covering the cost. But this problem can be redefined in different ways. Okay. Increase revenues while reducing cost. Okay. That's one of the reformulation that can be posed dun sa ating example. Kumbaga, we're going to sell the wood chips. Ibig sabihin, we have a new income. Kasi ibebenta natin. So, dagdag income. And also, save money elsewhere. So, ibig sabihin, yung kikitain natin doon, pwedeng maging savings natin. Maintain revenues while reducing cost. We're focusing on cost saving instead of trying to grow income. Yun yung gagawin natin dun sa pangalawang reformulation ng problema, ng problem. Maintain revenues while reducing costs. We will focus on the cost saving instead na mag-generate tayo ng additional income. Third, problem with the accounting system. Okay? Maybe the company's profits only look low because baka there's a poor cost accounting. Baka kasi may problema pagdating sa accounting system. Kaya kung titingnan natin, masyadong mababa yung kinikita ni company. Or lastly, we can reformulate the problem and that maybe no machine is not needed. Baka naman hindi kailangan ng panibagong machine. Baka the current system works well enough so that the company might avoid borrowing money altogether. Ano po? So, baka naman kaya pa nung existing system, ano po, na para maiwasan na lang nating humiram sa bangko ng pera. Ano po? So, kumbaga, this example shows that the way we define the problem affects what alternatives yung nakikita natin. 'Di ba? So, kumbaga yung problem natin is seen only as getting a loan. So, kumbaga yung options natin limitado. But if it is redefined, we can make more creative and potentially better solutions dun sa problem natin. Ano po? Next, developing alternatives. So, develop naman natin yung options. Ano po, dun sa problema nga ni furniture company. So, kailangan nga kasi niyang i-improve yung profitability, di ba? Para mag-qualify siya sa loan, para makabili ng bagong machine. So, after nating ma-define yung problem, so yung next step natin is to develop the possible alternatives. And at this stage, we are only generating ideas and hindi muna tayo nakafocus on the feasibility or the detailed evaluation of the analysis. So, dito, ang naging proposed alternative is to sell wood chips and shavings. Kasi yun yung ah, unang reformulation natin ng formula. Okay? So instead of burning waste for heating, we're going to sell it to a charcoal manufacturer where it could bring an extra income. Yun nga lang, possible, yung heating expenses tumaas since nga yung company will need another source of heat. So sa halip kasi na igatong natin siya for the heating system, ipagbebenta natin. So, yung magiging ah, disadvantage lang niya is dun sa heating expenses of that alternative. Ano po? Next, the second alternative is to discontinue specialty items. Okay, so yun yung pinakatinutukoy dito sa second alternative. Kumbaga, we're going to stop producing low volume custom products and instead dun tayo magfo-focus on standardized high volume items. So kumbaga, reduce natin yung production cost, mai-improve natin yung efficiency and can lead to higher profit. So kumbaga, hindi na tayo magfo-focus dun sa mga customized items, customized products. Dun tayo magfo-focus sa mga standard items natin or products natin. But high volume naman, 'di ba? Okay? And then pool services with other firms. So yun yung tinutukoy dito. Kumbaga outsourcing. Ano po? So you will be joining with nearby small companies to share cost of service like accounting, engineering, purchasing by contracting them out. So yun nga, nag-outsource ka. Instead na you have your own purchasing, engineering, accounting, sa iba ka kukuha. Kasi pwede mong ma-reduce, ma-minimize yung overhead expenses mo without affecting your production directly. So kumbaga dito, after we define the problem, we develop multiple alternatives para ma-improve yung profitability niya kasi yun naman yung problema. And that alternatives range from increasing the revenue or reducing the cost, sharing resources, and later, each option is screened natin siya and analyze to see alin ba yung mas or pinaka-beneficial sa lahat. Ano po? So, naintindihan naman po yung ating example. So, yung problema ni company kasi, kailangan niya mag-loan. Ano? Para makabili siya ng machine. So, kung titingnan lang natin siya as makapag-loan, medyo limited yung option natin. Kaya ni-redefine natin yung problem natin. And from that reformulation, nakapag-develop tayo ng several options. And from these options, later on, we will screen that, filtered out to see kung alin yung mas beneficial sa lahat. So, yung reformulation natin ng problem, hindi na nakatuon lang, nakafocus lang sa pag-loan. Kasi para ang goal din kasi is mapataas yung profit, 'di ba? So dun tayo, hindi lang yung loan yung tiningnan natin, but mapataas yung profit. Kumita tayo. Okay po? Understood po? Naintindihan naman po? Okay po. Baka inaantok na ha. Okay. So, sunod tayo. Development of prospective outcomes. Okay? So, ano namang meron dito? So, once yung mga alternatives natin na develop na, 'di ba? So, yung next step natin in engineering economic analysis is to predict what will happen financially and non-financially if each alternative is chosen. Okay. So, dito pasok yung cash flow perspective. That every company can be thought as having one window to the outside world where money comes in and money goes out. So, yun nga yung cash flow natin. Okay? So, for each alternative na meron tayo, kailangan natin ma-estimate how it will affect cash inflows and outflows, the income or savings, and the expenses. Because the net cash flow, ayan, the net cash flow is equal to the inflows minus the outflows, okay, for each period of time. So, makakatulong yan sa atin to compare alternatives in terms of economic impact. Okay? While cash flows are the main measure, companies don't base decision only on profit. So, hindi lang daw sa kita nagbabase yung mga kumpanya. Other factors can be just as important as customer satisfaction. So, does it make customers happier or more loyal? Safety, does it reduce risk to employees or sa public? Employee satisfaction, does it improve the morale of the employees or reduce turnover? Flexibility, makakatulong ba siya sa company to adapt sa future changes, sa mga pagbabago pa sa hinaharap? Environmental compliance, does it meet or exceed regulation in terms of environmental aspect? Public relations, does it enhance the company's reputation in the community? So, kumbaga, the development of the prospective outcome is all about estimating the prospective outcomes of each alternative, which includes quantitative, qualitative outcomes. So, hindi lang quantitative. Okay? Kaya nga sinasabi natin dito, hindi lang financially, but also non-financially aspect. Kasi lahat ng yon, both of the financially and non-financially are important sa paggawa ng isang decision. Okay? So, yun lang naman yung tinutukoy dito kay Step 3. Step 4, selection of a decision criterion. So after estimating the possible outcomes of each alternative dun sa step 3, the next step is to decide how we will judge and compare them. So dito, magiging judger tayo. Ano po? Kasi dito, this is called selecting a decision criterion stage. Okay? Where here, you need to use a consistent rule for comparison. So you must have a consistent rule for comparison. So the decision criterion, kumbaga, ay parang yardstick for choosing the best option. Okay? For example, should we choose the alternative na may highest profit, lowest cost, best return of investment, best ROI, or fastest payback? So, alin doon yung pipiliin natin? May mataas, may malaking kita, may mababang cost, may magandang ROI, may mabilis na payback. So, whatever rule we use, we must remain consistent throughout the analysis. Okay? And then focus on long-term interest. The chosen criterion should reflect what's best, ano ba yung maganda for the organization's future survival and growth, hindi dun sa short-term gains. For example, ang isang project, mabilis nga yung payback, but low long-term returns. Alin yung pipiliin mo? Kesa dun sa as good as one with steady, higher profits over time. Mabilis nga yung payback, mababa naman yung long-term returns. Eh doon na ako sa steady lang, di man kabilisan, steady lang, pero higher profit naman over time. Okay? So, doon tayo sa long-term goal kesa sa short-term goal. And consider all relevant criteria. Yun yung meron tayo kay Principle 5 kanina. While money-based measures are common, non-economic factors such as safety, environmental impact play a role also. So yung good decision criterion, it balances financial with other important organizational goals. So yung step 4 natin, this is just about deciding on the rule for choosing the best alternative. So yung rule dito, kailangan natin maging consistent. It should reflect the right perspective and it serves the organization's long-term interests, not just short-term convenience. Okay po. So, malinaw po kay step 4. And for step 5, for the continuation of our discussion, tomorrow na lang po, 7 to 8 a.m. Ano po? So, we will start exactly at 7 kasi po it's an hour of class lamang. Ano po? So, i-maximize natin yung oras natin. And lastly po, before we end our discussion, makikiusap lang po sana ako baka sakaling meron tayong, okay. Baka po sakaling meron kayong vacant, ano po, habulin lang natin kahit 3 hours na nawala sa atin last week. Kung meron po kayong vacant ng Thursday and Friday, but pwede ko naman palang i-check kung may vacant kayo. Ayan. And then, if you all agreed to have a makeup, kasi po last week, I think, nakalayo-layo na yung O1 to O4 ng discussion, ay tayo ay babago pa lang. Ano po? So, para, ano po, kasabay tayo ng discussion ng ibang sections. Ano po, so class rep, sino bang class rep dito sa O5? Kindly, kindly naman po, baka mahahanapan. Thursday, Friday. Either Thursday or Friday. Ano po, ayan. So, ayun, sige. So, yun lamang po for today. Ano po, so may naintindihan naman sa naging discussion ngayon na, ayan, okay. So, naintindihan naman. So, that's good. And then, sige. So, tomorrow na lang po. That's all muna for today. And then, we will continue tomorrow. So, thank you po for participating sa klase natin today. And see you all tomorrow. So, thank you.